if I'll never get it right. I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me. Yeah.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. Ulti.TV. Ulti.net.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ulti.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ulti.TV we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Tom's Tourney 2023, and we are rolling into the power pools with the women's division in front of us. Great Britain women versus jinX from Berlin, and this is going to be a spicy matchup. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury, in the booth with Stefan Rapat. So, Steph, I know you're excited to see Anna Gerner, but what else are you excited about for this match?
Is there anything else happening out here? No, I'm excited for so much happening here. GB women undefeated so far throughout this tournament. They've had a heck of a run. They've been pushed and pressed. They said it hasn't been easy, but they're getting wins. And they know they're going to have their hands full against jinX, but still with full belief that they can pull this one off. jinX, of course, the club team, a very short roster, but a very talented short roster. Alongside Anna Gerner, the human highlight reel. She's brought along ex-Eurostar pal Sarah Eklund and a wealth of other names that can make good things happen for the jinX side.
Absolutely, and they'll be starting out on offense to get us underway. Gerner finding Ola Holmlund on the far sideline. Holmlund, one of the other Swedes coming across, because we won't be seeing any Swedish women's club team in the shape of Valkyria anyway, coming out and playing this 2023 season, unfortunately. So those two will be picking up all season long. We're learning Duolingo German at the moment. But Anik on a high stall count. Hormlong with a fancy footwork on the far side. Good pressure from GB's defense. Hormlong. Jeklund going towards the deep space, has separation, but also has a big old poach in the form of wedge.
More than just wedge. There's a couple there. They may have been ready for that one before it came out. As soon as Gerner wound up, sorry, that was not Gerner, that was Hormlong who wound up. The help defense peeled off and got in the way, and there was no chance for Eklund to cross over the other side of that stack.
Yeah, a little bit of a dialed in option. So Klima getting us to start off with Hormlong having a go at it, but Gibson claims, sorry, Cordron even starting us off on the far sideline.
There's a pick on the field.
Klima with the diss now. Two Reading Ultimate Club players. And I always get them mixed up.
Of course, we saw them in the EUCF final last year from Kaorle.
Oldfield under. Oh, and a run-through block generated by Hormlong. She giveth and she taketh away, and she claims the first goal for jinX.
Short field in the end after they got it back and held. Sarah Eklund cashes that one in.
Yeah, Sarah Jeklund, as you already mentioned, Steph. Long-time household name on the European scene. Two-time Eurostars player, I think.
I believe you're right. Two-time Eurostar, Valkyria, Team Sweden. She was playing with Vancouver's Traffic out at WUCC. She's got a long, impressive pedigree and resume. And now bringing her talents to the Berlin side, jinX.
Indeed, and Hormlong as well. One of the younger players, I believe, coming out of Kefum Opro. But I will fact check myself before I wreck myself. But really impressive watching those two play together in the indoor championships back in Lithuania last year. Our first championship of nations in the indoor format, and the Swedes took it in a spicy final over the Dutch women, who aren't in power pool stages. They were knocked out into the lower ones to fight it out. So this is all about position going into the championship bracket. Hannah Brew threatening that inside flick. One of the top throwers and long-time captains Yorwith, though, opening up that lefty backhand to Naden. She can't ascend, and that's going to sail into the turf.
And she can't ascend enough to... I think the height was just about there, but her arms swinging backwards just swung right past the disc almost.
Yeah, Naden's a difficult athlete to overthrow. Really, really dominant, especially for the Smog women's team that played the UK National League. Well, it was like a league format out of COVID. Came out really intense work going on in the gym. So jinX with an opportunity for an early break. Willison looking around, finds Herkins upfield. Given goes around the back nice and easy, but tight match from Great Britain. Sliding reach, an attempt from Tereshina to make the grab, but Masha comes up empty-handed.
And that's a Rumpelt throw that just got too far in front.
Hyde trying to connect with Dahlman. But another turnover for GB. Not liking what they see upfield, but gaining some yards now. Not really any movement into the deep space from jinX. GB doing a good job of poaching, and there comes the block from Rachel Naden. Off to the end zone, Van Krieken. And there we go, we're level up after some tussle in the middle of that point.
Incredible individual effort there by Naden. Got the D, everybody else looking around, wondering how it happened while she was just ready for the next play. The continuation, got herself into that end zone wide open. and made the score look easy after the impressive smack away D. So as I said off the top, GB undefeated, jinX also undefeated over the course of this tournament. They've beat GB under 24 13-10. They beat Spain women 15-12 and Austria 14-6 before their last victory in the power pools. And that was a match against Disque 15-8. So battle of the undefeated here to win the power pool and take the 1 seed into the crossovers.
Well, the 1 seed actually belongs to BFD Shout. This is GB Women were seeded second coming into this tournament. Rightly so, a very talented squad. jinX, of course, though, up in the top spots, having claimed victory here last year. Yeklund, no, not Yeklund, Gerner at the back. How could I miss that beautiful pink headband?
Signature. Beautiful pink headband.
Absolutely. To match the beautiful play that comes out of her. Anna Airways, as we lovingly call her sometimes.
That cannot be understated.
Guvic dancing around the back. Back to Gerner. Anik trying to get free, dancing around in front. Hormlong coming in under now. Hookstein. There is an attack towards the deep space. Hormlong sort of trots around. Anik has a go, but the air battle is won by Jeffrey.
Air battle won early, position taken. And she does get a good smack away, but Anik would have had to go through the body to have a chance at that.
Yeah, great box out. So Quadrant starting things off. Big laser flick over to Denniston on the far side, but a big target to hit. The lefty backhand goes up. Underneath it's Marsh. Gerner, though, just getting enough of a touch.
And what incredible catch-up speed there. Gerner let her go, gave separation, and as soon as the disc went up, she just took away everything she gave up.
Ormlong with a nice find to Von Stup down the sideline. Von Stup's going to shoot for Yeklund. It's going to be a bit of a sky battle. Oh no, it's not. The position for Yeklund was picture perfect. Nothing that Van Sale can do.
She separated and then took that with 2 hands. Got all the separation she needed. It was starting to look in the last 10 meters of that chase like there was going to be nothing but Eklund.
Yeklund popping another on jinX's tally. They have the advantage coming into this game. It's a little bit of a brutal format in that winning the toss gives you such a pure advantage. There is no halftime until we reach semis and finals. Then we will have a break for halftime. But of course, 60-minute time slots, trying to get as many games and opponents in, although previous editions of Tom's Tourney, of course, have had really brutal formats. Only 50-minute games and then dead on the buzzer.
Don't get me talking about previous editions of Tom's Tourney, Hannah. You know what'll happen.
Oh, you'll talk about coaching to the win last year.
Oh, did that happen? Oh, yeah, I forgot I won last year. Thanks for bringing that up.
Well, it's okay. We've got it out the way. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
Good luck with that.
So pick call in the stack for Great Britain. Brew with the disc. See what they can work with from static. Naden attacking the deep space, but not taken. Hyde underneath. Hunter with acres of room. Pick is called. It is kept. I think we might see someone attempt to catch up.
Suspiciously open, as we say.
well, Hunter was sort of hustling at the front of the stack, looking to kind of give that reset. I'm not sure how closely covered she has been, but I think it's maybe possibly a different pick, different set of players, but before the throw.
Discussion sorting itself out and positions retaken.
Hunter going up line, lovely inside from Hyde, but a collision in the center of the stack, and that looks deeply unpleasant, the body language of Rosa Herkens. Not sure what happened there, but that's a big loss for jinX.
The GB player pointed to her own knee to send indication to the sideline, and being helped off the field very gingerly on the right leg. So we'll hope for the best possible recovery from that situation. While
hopefully just a knock to the nerves rather than a knock to any tendons or anything like that. It wasn't a really big yelp, so that is a promising sign, but yeah, hopefully Herkens will be okay. So Kwok with the disc after that really heckin' laser of an inside flick from Hyde. Round to Naden. Has Hyde attacking the space in the end zone. Brew now really asking a lot for Naden to make the break. High stall, just chucking it and hoping, and there is going to be a foul or pick call. Not sure from the hand signals. But that was asking a heck of a lot of Rachel Naden to just throw that break. Did find Thompson, but we might have to wind back the tape.
the mark on that, Wallison held really tight and then bid on a fake right at the end and gave just enough room to go up line with a break throw. If she would have held steady, that could have been a desperation release on a very high stall count.
Either way, that's what you've got to be happy about with jinX's D-line. If you can make your opponents have to go quite so high. But that's going to be called good for the goal. Whatever the stoppage was, deemed not to have impacted that play. So a nice break from Naden puts GB with another point on the board. And that's wrapped up at twos.
Wrapped up at twos, a little bit of confusion still. You assessed that right. They had agreed, but not much of a celebration, and people didn't start moving right away. So
I think probably a little bit of a just unsettling from obviously Herkens having to come off the pitch with that slightly injured leg. She's just receiving a bit of loving care and attention on the sideline to the left of our booth, so hopefully she will get back on. But taking another look at that break from Naden, that stall count must have been about 8 and a couple of heartbeats at least.
There's another look at the goal that did count in the end after some discussion.
Indeed. Thompson catching it, first GB cap this season for her, previously of the Chichester University Cobras fame and Horsham Hippos, who organised some lovely events in the UK. Real community vibe for their side. But Jekland on the far sideline, eating up yards, has Hormlong. Spicy inside wedge, has a go at it, but can't quite grasp. Gerner has players dancing around. Givic just commits. Oh, and that's a huge hand block, but the redemption coming through Lena von Stupt. Heck yeah. Gerner. Payne doing some dancing with Anique. Eventually has to turn the hips and commit, and the high release is there. Gerner just opening up those legs, but too much flustering around the disc. Givic now. Oh no, Hormlong. Big screaming from the sideline. Jekland just racing towards the front line though. Better matchup, and that's a nice hold for jinX.
The jinX cutting in the short field, their end zone offense is very disciplined for a team that's small rostered with a couple of external players, but They really run through their handlers and the isolation at the front of the stack, and they let them do the work. And when they retire, they come out one at a time there. And every cut gets some space. As we see at the end of this one, Eklund waited and waited and waited. When it was her turn, she put on the burners, and she got the space necessary to get open for the catch. But good discipline by the jinX cutting outfit here to set that one up for Eklund.
Yeah, I love that big fake from Hormlung, kind of the quickness with which she turns her full pivot all the way around the world is a thing to be beheld. But all on serve, no breaks just yet. Opportunities being given. And a bit of fun facts about Olda Hormlung for you. Who I just said there about her pivoting. She's a set designer at a Stockholm auction house. Of course, those two Swedes travelling to play alongside their teammates from Berlin.
Sounds like a fun job.
Oh, absolutely. Big creativity. So Kwok, the mixed gold medalist from Gjør in 2019.
I remember her.
Absolutely. Literal trained medical doctor puts a blade of a flick with surgical precision there, finding Rachel Nadem.
Between the two defenders, a little bit of help came off. Thought that they might have a chance, but the throw was perfect. As mentioned, that medical precision. GB, pretty quick and easy response.
Yeah, it's really nice to see both these teams, early stages, firing with relative ease. There have been some moments of sort of squeaky bum time, I guess you might call it in the UK, of really having to just play at the edges of your offensive abilities because the match defense has been tight as it gets. But it doesn't really seem like anyone's fully given the disc away. There have been maybe some throws that have been poached off and blocked, but not too many kind of just full-on miscues just yet, which is nice. This is what we like.
Squeaky bum time. As tight as it gets. Interesting.
It's the short shorts. The short shorts are bringing it out of me, Stefan. There are a lot of short shorts on the pitch right now.
There most certainly
clearly influencing my commentary.
I'm very happy with the new trend, the old knee-length shorts. We're doing no good for the sport. We're looking much better as athletes nowadays.
Well, I just like the variety, you know. The athletes can choose what works for them. You still see as Wedge really tries to have a go at that one. I think there's just going to be a little chat between her and Sophie Rumpelt, just saying, you know, maybe keep your arms to yourself.
Yeah, Wedge having a real go at it. Rumpelt really holding her off, got that left elbow up, and just made sure she wasn't going to get any closer.
Well, another player who ended up picking up at USAU Nationals for a certain Canadian team. But Hormlung with the disc now, the double begloved. Gerner. Hormlung thinking about the up line, replaced underneath. Great bid for the save from Rumpelt. Oh my goodness, what a block. Molly Wedge getting the feet involved. Two defenders having a go. Anna Gerner, though, not going to get there in time. Block.
Wow. What a play. Wedge with that block. The pickup, no hesitation, send. Even Gerner thought she had it sniffed out. I'm going to retreat too and help out. And the throw was perfect. Even with the help defense, the individual effort there by Wedge was well rewarded with a perfect throw.
You do have to watch out for Wedge's feet. Definitely a very active mark. In fact, one of the key handlers for Desky has a nice big purple mark where Wedge's hand caught right in the moneymaker.
There's the great play that Rumpelt made to keep it alive, but taken away right away. You see Gerner going here. I know there could be danger.
Yes, there may be trouble ahead. And there was. So that's first blood in this game. The break goes to GB Women. Matches their shirts and the rain starts to fall down.
And the rain falls down. Checking in the comments, Pierre-Louis Combray wonders what happened last year while he was wearing a red shirt and got the victory as well. But back to our game.
Indeed, we're not at that stage yet. This is just power pools playing for position to try and advance as far as you can into that championship bracket. Hormlung. Tossing back. Von Stutt. Big poach on the resets. Nice to see them making a little bit more momentum with those. Gerner. There is a stumble in the backfield from Jekland. Under now. Hormlung race into the back corner, but it's just easy swinging round. Bit high and a bit loose, but Jekland takes it with aplomb. Hormlung.
Oh.
This is tight defense, making jinX really work for every single pass. Nice high grab for Gerner. Plucks it out of the sky like a cherry. Wilson. Back to Anik. Nice inside shot, and that's the connection around. Can it be redeemed by Hormlung? Not quite.
Up early for that one, and ends up being a misread.
Yeah, all that patience, all that effort, and then just a little bit hasty on the last pass.
So GB with the chance for a second break, one that would come in a back-to-back situation.
Fun sale. Inside, finding pain, the two Spice players connecting. Big one over across, and there is 3 on the bounce for GB Women. Gibson collects the goal.
GB making them pay for their mistakes now. The smaller roster of jinX potentially showing some fatigue, but any which way you slice it, when they err and give the disc back to GB, GB D-line is becoming efficient with their conversions.
Well, a lot of the GB players come from teams where vibe is a real thing. And at the moment, it's got that vibe of, okay, 3 on the bounce, can they ride the momentum wave? Or if, you know, it becomes a bit more of a war of attrition out here. Because jinX did have that advantage in terms of that first point to start us off. So 2 breaks. Still very much, you know, within jinX's ability to claw it back. But yeah, if they can ride the high and get a couple more on the bounce here,
they'll take it.
Oh yeah.
And so you're talking about the clubs that make up this iteration of GB Women. What are the primary clubs that are represented here?
So
or is it very vast?
It's pretty well spread. You've got a decent chunk of Spice, one of the newer clubs on the women's scene. Went to World Clubs last season back in Ohio. You've got some Bristol women representation, some players who are coming across from the mixed side, and a couple of new faces, but I mean, we'll get plenty of chance to talk about all these players over the course of the season, but it's not just one team plus a couple of additions. It really is sort of a full UK effort. Gerner, popping to Govic. Taking your time, nice and easy. Schrempf, Batakovic. And of course, even with the extra Swedes alongside, jinX are one of those teams that generally don't really take pickups for single tournaments, so their connections are a well-oiled thing. Wilson with hot pressure. Reaches around into the pocket. Big poaching off the back. I'm not really enjoying that idea of giving that complete easy reset. It's allowing jinX to chill. Gerner gets Wilson active. There's the continuation from Schrempf and a nice clean hold for jinX.
Great hold for jinX. I had the ISO cam on 28 Rumpelt running with the 10 shirt, Sarah Hills. And those two were not given much to one another, banging elbows on a couple of occasions, trying to find space. All the while, jinX finding ways. You see here that inside IO that Gerner demanded with her head nod. That was the hockey assist for the goal.
So I was throwing a bit of shade on it, Stefan, but what do you think of the style of poaching off that backhander completely that GB's throwing when they're playing their match defense? I admire the ambition on poaching in the lane, but...
I mean, the shorter the field gets, the less you can get away with it. I think in the big field, why not? The poach takes away the bigger threat. But as soon as that field shortens up and, you know, a short throw can end the point, that's when you really need to be honest and hang tight. And, you know, once you're defending from inside your own brick mark, that really does need to see a bit more disciplined match defense.
So 5-4, GB leading with the disc in hand. Brew over to Thompson. A little bit of a low grab required for Brew, but it's going to escape the pause.
I'm surprised not to have seen a foul there.
Well, a gift for jinX. Can they control the disc as well? Slipping and sliding. Strempf doing a good job of staying up. Steiner cycles back. Oh, a flat one into the path of Holmlong. That's quite nice, but nothing continuing after it. Anique sort of dancing around the back of the mark. Opens up a big backhand that's just a couple of inches into the end zone, and that's the score, and a break back for jinX.
Break back, tied it up. We've got a game as per expectations. Both these teams undefeated for a reason. Not much separating them right now. jinX still down a break, but plenty of time to find another after the equalizer to go back to serve. That's where I thought there was some contact on the throw. See it again? Oh, no.
Yeah, and some vision from Anique there. So even Stevens, GB women still up one break, but we are level here. Women's power pool format. So both these teams are going to be going into the 1-8 bracket. They're going to be playing off against their corresponding opposites. So this is for the top of this power pool, if I recall correctly.
You do indeed.
So this pool also has Diski and Austrian women as Hannah Brew puts up an absolute bomb of a flick. A little bit of hustling and falling over from Wilson. I don't think there's necessarily going to be a call there, but a bit of a chat with Rachel Naden. GB going for a bit of Route 1 offense.
And so some surprises in the women's division. Just looking over from the last round, I've seen a score that I was maybe going to assume a different pool winner. But France has gone ahead and knocked off Shout and taken that power pool and stolen the number one place. That means Shout takes the 2 spot from the power pool. Belgian women take the 3 spot and Czech take the 4 spot. That would mean that the winner of this game will play the Czech women, and the loser of this game will play the Belgian women.
Interesting. That's quite a fun little result. I'm enjoying this now. I say this now, like I wasn't enjoying this tournament already, but I love that when that happens. It's sort of, you know, I mean, the French team looked a little bit less than perfect, but there's going to be a travel call. on Hannah Bru's throw. But yeah, clearly they found some fire. And Shout this morning on the live stream definitely looked like they were fallible. They had some things that they are working on, but it's, you know, for a lot of these teams, first event of the season. This is exactly what you expect to see, a couple of upsets and some funky fun things happening. Van Krieken working hard underneath the hot pressure of Hormlung. Streaking up line, Naden looks it off. You're easily around.
Oh.
But miscues on the swing to Hannah Bru. Now that's some loose hand marking of jinX's own, but it seems to find GB come a little bit unstuck, perhaps a bit hasty. Gerner. It's an easy one to give Itch. Wallison. This would be a good response from jinX. Nice high grab for Gerner. Was it really ever in doubt, Steph?
Never.
Hayley Dahlman trying to get a hand in the cookie jar.
It's still just as impressive every time she gets up. She is one of the smoothest players we get to watch play, whether she's throwing her body horizontally, whether she's going up with one hand, her smooth breaks. She just does it all with relative ease and makes the game look easy.
We went on a bit of a tangent yesterday about her being a combination of all three Powerpuff Girls, but of course Professor was trying to make the perfect little girl, but she's kind of not perfect. No one's perfect. We're all human, but she is a pretty tasty Frisbee player. She's definitely got plenty of Chemical X in, giving her those superpowers.
Certainly one of my favorite to watch.
So surveying the field, Hasgovich with a bit of space. There's been a switch off to put Naden as the matchup. I like that tussle. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Von Stupt looking at a little lots of options. Gerno going for the around. Big grind. There are shots available. Hammer over the top, finding Sarah Jekland for the goal. Kwok has a go at the block, but that was Swede all day, every day.
Doing it every which way. We talk about her making it look easy. She finishes the job with a hammer to her Eurostar teammate. And that's a go-ahead for jinX. They want their part of winning this pool, which would, again, give them the Czechs rather than Belgium. And so going back to the French women in Shout. So we saw the French lose to LMU on stream earlier yesterday. And many close games in between. They had a tournament before this. They played the Siege of Limerick and dominated there, destroyed everybody. So they found form against a lower grade of competition. And it seems like they're a team that they're taking a bit of time to find form here. But, I mean, if they just beat Shout, they're finding some form. So look out for the French national team going deeper into this tournament too. Yaka won here last time. There's a fair few Yakitos on the French national team, so they know what it takes to win in Bruges.
Well, that's a really, it's a really interesting question. Who would you rather play, the Czech national team or the Belgian national team? I mean, the Belgians on their first live stream game was took them a little bit of time to wake up. We'll talk a little bit, though, about the game, I believe, between those two teams, as unfortunately GB will overthrow Molly Wedge. Anik. Muckstein working at the back together. Oh, good recovery and adjustment from the captain. Jekland.
Anik knew that last throw was gone. She was ready to play defense just before it was caught.
Absolutely. Swedish connection. Nobody marking Sarah Jekland. GB trying to switch and poach to allow the jinX players to run themselves ragged. Lovely big backhand again from Anik. Face marking gets exploited, but unfortunately it's overthrown. But GB just happy to trot their way through. No exploding out of the blocks to go and make use of it. This is, after all, just their offensive point. They don't need a defensive fast break. Gibson to pick up. Jeffrey powering through past Jekland, but stall out's going to be called by Oda Holmlund.
That seemed like it might have been quick.
So it's going to be contested. Back it shall go. Coming in, starting stall 8, of course. We need a shot clock, really, in Ultimate for this, don't we?
I would love a visual, constantly resetting stall count, stall clock.
Oh, think of the stats you could pull, Steph. Think of the stats as Jeff puts one up. And that's a really nice goal. Easy for Molly Wedge. Just has to watch it float directly into the breadbasket. What a throw from Sarah Jeffrey. The two Bristol players connecting.
A great setup there. The cut went early. Throw was on point. Fair amount of inability to really get a flow in that point. The stop-start, and then in the last one from static, just made it happen early. I think we may have a timeout here. I'm not sure where it came from, but there is a timeout on the field.
Well, getting another look at that lefty hockey assist from Denniston. And just a really easy one. Oftentimes teams will ask a lot of Wedge, but nothing required but simple stuff there. We're going to take a break, as the players do, as the rain starts to drift down onto these pitches. Be back with the action after these.
Nova Scotia Electric, become a member.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ulti.TV, we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Women's power pool action in front of us. Great Britain and jinX currently leveled up 6 apiece, 2 breaks each. Tussling, finding their metal. Jekland racing off the back of the stack. That might be a bit too far. No, it's not. The catch-up speed of Jekland never fails to impress. And an easy lefty toss for the goal. My goodness gracious me.
Wow. Gerner's laser, that could have cut the fingers off most people. Good thing Eklund has gloves on. Went down, maintained the status of her fingers. And
laughing. That's brilliant.
Jeez, that was something. And maintains the composure to pop in a goal right after nearly having her digits chopped off. So, it's all happening right now at Tom's. As we say, we're ending pool play at every division. Women's division, this is the end of power pool play. The Pool D in the men's division was the big question mark. Who was going to get through? And we didn't really know. And then Belgium under 24 seemed to say, okay, this is our division. They've been beating everybody. And as such, they were lined up to play the Dutch. And it seemed like the winner of Isno Wall City was going to take the 2 seed, unless the Dutch could knock off Belgium in the last round of pool play. And well, Coach Vassie David must have worked something out, because the Dutch did indeed get the win 13-11 over Belgium under 24 and advance into the quarterfinals.
I
We'll
kind
talk
of
about
have to
those
say,
matchups soon.
I'm quite surprised that's happened, but I'm even more surprised that GB have given it up almost on their own goal line. A little bit of loose lack of attention there, maybe, or loose throw, who knows. Either way, a gift for jinX, and they're going to exploit that surely. Yes, Anique with the huge layout grab, and that is a break for jinX.
Anique probably could have taken another step. She wasn't so sure where her feet were and just dragged early to make sure. And what a great job of that. Let her body flop to the ground, sacrifice the body. She's holding her neck. Hopefully she's fine. A little bit of whiplash on the Scorpion landing. Heck of a pickup.
Yeah, to talk about injury updates, I don't think that we are going to see Rosa Herkens coming back onto the pitch this game. She has covered herself in a nice big anorak and some warm trousers, one hopes, because the weather is not particularly nice right now. It's quite warm, but drizzly.
Anique has spent the better part of this weekend and this game just being a consistent resetting handler. She makes great throws. She doesn't just reset with her throws, but she's always there in the backfield. And until this time of asking, she put herself upfield into a scoring position. And there's another look with some of the players inside the 3-meter line, preventing the cleanest of shots, but we do get to see her make that play.
Yeah, we are really lucky in Toms, actually. Lots of the fields here have the full pitch clearance space around the edges, so allowing athletes to come close and sideline, but also respect that kind of, distance so that people can make plays in every part of the pitch. Hunter on the attack, looking at Dolman, but resetting around. One of two twin sisters is Avril Hunter. Her sister Gail, haven't seen her play in a while. But Hunter really committed to the weight room this season and last. She may be small, but she is super, super mighty. Brew. Faking the over the top. Another player having come through some of the junior divisions in the UK, an under 24 athlete from Old. Now playing in the senior division. Gerner looking over and across. Nice placement for Rumpelt. Hormlong. Yeklin having a little bit of a slip on the underneath cut, but finishing it well. Tiny bit of hesitation from the cuts upfield. Captain coming under, Mukstin. Nice one to Govic, far side. Seems like the jinX players are able to break the forces of GB with relative ease. Nice one up line for Gerner. Hormlong coming under. Govic. Von Stupt. Oh no, not quite the clockwork continuation needed. Govic racing up line. Gerner now around the edge. She makes the big layout always. And then calmly throws an around break. Gerner able to play a bit of catch with Von Stupt at the back. Wilson really working. Oh, Rumpelt even. Gerner just that anchor position always at the back, and a timeout called because everyone else seemed to be doing the square root of not a lot.
Gerner having a great game, most certainly. Not huge on the stat sheet right now. And I was just thinking to myself, like, we haven't seen her lay out yet in this game. And just before I mentioned something of the sort, she does her usual thing and lays that body out in incredible fashion, splashing to the ground. Here's another look. Oh, Gerner, the human highlight reel.
Well, we like that timeout call, and as the players in the field take a breather, we're going to take a couple of sips of our refreshments too. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. jinX currently sitting pretty in this game, up a solitary break over GB Women. Power pool play to decide who will face up against the other half of the championship bracket. Well, we've had a mild upset in the women's division. As we already mentioned, the French finally putting their magic together. They took their first title of the season back in Limerick at Siege, and have bested Shout, the first seeds, to steal that one. They'll get the matchup against the Austrian women. Guvic, Jekland, Holmlung. Well, I'll tell you what, that's how you make use of a timeout.
That is the exact opposite of a time over or a turnout. They called the timeout, scripted their cuts, and hit 2 in a row in sequence. No hesitation. 6 seconds after it was tapped in, it was counted as a goal.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that might have been a tactical timeout because everyone was just feeling a little bit tired, needed a little bit of a breather, maybe some isotonic refreshment.
So here's the replay at 9-6, and as you guys take this in, I'm going to run you through our quarters in the Open 1 division. We've got BFD La Fota against Spain Open, confirmed. GB Open against Netherlands Open, confirmed. Mooncatchers against Czech, an all-club ordeal here on the stream. And Belgium under 24 and Jet Set, who find their way in, coming in second in GB Open's pool.
So the pool coming down from jinX, sitting pretty those 2 breaks, having taken hold of this game by getting themselves back on serve and now putting themselves well out in front. Miscommunication on defense gives an easy pop pass into the end zone from the number 25.
Bit of a miscommunication, but I think a poach in the lane. The defender jumped into the open side for a flash poach there, and easily identified by the thrower, saw it, held back on the throw, and looked inward to where the poach freed up a player of her own team.
Well, that's exactly what GB need, a nice, quick, swift hold to start the campaign back towards being back in charge of this game, trailing those still 9-7. So wise words coming. You can see the back of his behoodied head, Alex Mazin. one of 3 coaches for the GB women's side. 3 chaps, Mazen, Chris Bamford, as well as Tom Mannings, all experienced athletes. And Mazen having played most recently, famously, with Smog, which is the home club of many of the GB women's team this season. And Chris Bamford working for the UK Ultimate Association, Federation, whatever you want to call them. And of course, jinX, with a much shorter roster, pretty much a full 7 fewer than their opponents, having to self-manage. To see a zone coming out for GB on defense. Kuvic finding Gerner. Trying to tire out the brains now of jinX is the defense rather than just the legs. Gerner moving it in, giving and going. Oh, but a miscommunication. Hormlong had the disc in her hands for but half a heartbeat before she tried to pass it back to Gerner. And they come unglued. Hyde picking up. Bigger round to start. Van Sale trying to attack the force, but Gerner moving away nicely. High stall up for Coman. Back to Hyde. Oh, a nice flat, easy one. Neve just inside the end zone, and that's a break back for GB.
Break back for GB. They're going to need them now. Bringing it within 1 is good timing. We've got just over 2 minutes before we hear the 5-minute warning. And again, that easy math makes it 7 to go. But a good time for a break back. Anytime's a good time for a break. Particularly towards the end of a game. That's when you need momentum, and there's no better way of getting momentum than scoring a break point in this game.
Well, we are indeed running out of time for GB to put another break onto the board. They're still trailing in this game. 3 breaks to 4, but also that first point going on the tally for jinX, having started out on offense. But they're very much still capable of coming back.
Defensive game here, relatively low scoring at 9-8 right now. We could still see a handful of goals, but probably not too far into the double digits for either team at this stage.
So jinX looking to keep their lead. Gerner up that far sideline. Trying to think the last time we didn't see her on the pitch. Just tirelessly working are these jinX players. Of course, coming off a very busy season are these German players, especially those that were on the World Games squad or training squad. Of course, some of the club sides faltered a little bit because of that, with their star units having to pull duty for other teams. It's always a busy time for Ultimate players, but it's going to be a chuck it in hope to Yekland. Woo. There's an attempt for Gibson. Really nice one, but it's going to be a little bit too late, and that's a really nice goal. Trust ball goes up, but when you've got receivers like Yekland, you can get away with that all day.
Yeah, squeaked it through. The throw went through just enough traffic. I thought there was maybe a hand gonna get it, but by the time it did get through, the sure hands of Eklund made no two ways about it. Safe as houses as ABBA erupts in the background, Hannah. 5 minutes remain.
Do you think that jingle gives any advantage for the fact that jinX have 2 Swedes? Inspirational ABBA, you might say?
Inspirational ABBA. The Swedes hearing their hometown vibes, home country vibes. Possibly.
We did have some classic pre-game banter that was very kind of stereotypical Swedish. The bonding of choice for the jinX players is they really like to cook, to which Oda Holmlund's immediate response was, well, I really like to eat, so that's why I suit the team. So neither of the Swedes are particularly good in terms of their chef skills. However, I asked them what they would make for their teammates in terms of, a bonding session, and their response was, we're that bad at cooks that we'll just take them to IKEA and feed them meatballs. So another iconic Swedish stereotype, but a dropped pull. That's not iconic. That's not what you want. But heck, talk about preparing to play red zone defense in a must-win situation. And a gift for jinX. Wilson just over the goal line. And that was just bizarre. But jinX will take it.
I always like to claim I got the D when I pulled, and it's a drop pull. Do we count that as a stat?
Was it a catchable pull? It looked like a catchable pull.
That was, off of all of the fingers.
I don't know. Did you put a little bit of secret something on it before you threw it?
Rub it under the armpit or something. She'll never catch this one.
Well, GB have got to have a short memory. Put that one out of their minds. And, that's going to be one that Jeffrey is not going to want to watch back.
No. Unless she really wants to emphasize the learning part of what failure does.
Well, someone who's not familiar with failure at Tom's Tourney would be Stefan Rapazzo. If you're in the GB circle and you're coaching right now, what are you saying?
I am kicking water bottles. I'm flipping tables. Now's the moment to really explode. You need to get a spark. So the timeout's already been taken by the GB side. It's going to be in between points. I would express frustration to do the little things.
Well, at the moment they are eating up yards towards the end zone. Hyde with the disc, looking for Yorwith. Van Krieken, no one really near the center of the field. Kwok coming under.
Ooh.
Naden suspiciously open. Of course, we're going to come back on the pick.
Ran through the stack. You tend to get some traffic.
Naden, the better side of a famous Frisbee power couple. You're always going to have to track that high one down. Kwok looking for the break. Doesn't have the continuation in time. Has to throw an inside one, but a great grab from Hannah Brugge, just hitting the deck. No concern for her body, only concern for getting another point on the board for Great Britain.
And that goes only just before the end of game. Horn will surely go. The Kasabian I'm on fire coming soon. So we have at minimum 2 more points to play here. We'll play at the next point, see who scores. It will be a game till 12 or 13. And of course, that gives jinX an advantage in every sense. GB in a situation where they score next and we play to 12, you know, a hold and 2 breaks is still a tall order, but a hold and a break, sorry, if it's a game to 12, if they end up scoring this 10th goal. So very doable if they score here.
Well, both these sides undefeated coming into this power pool matchup. Now's really an opportunity for GB to test their mettle. Can they generate the comeback as we hear Kasabian fire over the Tannoy system?
+1 after this point.
As we see some ferreting around to try and claim the disc from the dirt, being kicked up by these players. Not the nicest conditions to cut through, but the zone for Great Britain coming out once more. It caused confusion and a turnover last time between Hormlong and Gerner. Hormlong trying to find her place along this jinX team, with the two of them having been invited to come and join. A real small ball give and go athlete is Hormlong. Gonna have to go for something over the top. Truss ball to Yerkland. Wedge makes the effort have to go up high and early, and it overshoots. Oh, Hormlong though causes just enough confusion, puts a spice in the jar. Big ripper backhand from Gerner underneath it though, shepherding the disc away from any opponent. Layla Denniston.
Going back to that D by Wedge, or I guess the misread by Eklund, it came from Wedge. She heard the footsteps. Wedge was charging, encroaching the space there, and that's a play you would normally see Eklund go up with full confidence and take that down. But Wedge's encroachment causing some confusion and letting that one go back before now getting their next shot at it.
Well, some team defense to stop that early deep shot being connected with as Wedge raced towards the backfield, but it's going to be a battle going the other way. Wedge with an excellent box, shuts the door in Yekland's face.
Shuts it right down. I thought Eklund was going to speed her way around there, but Wedge used that body well, backed her off hips and shoulders, and shut the lane. And so it is a game to 12. And they get to hold now a 2-break situation for GB, or a single hold will shut her down if you're jinX.
Oh, well, I really enjoyed the battle between Yekland and Wedge there. So nice we got to see it twice. There you see just that aggressive attack taking over the right side. It's a bit similar to that kind of slowdown you see when someone's tracking a disc that's quite straight. It's that similar sort of idea of moving either slower or away from the disc so you can really then attack it with full vim.
Yes.
So a game to 12 here in women's power pool situation. This for the theoretically easiest crossover, that 1-8. So it's not, it's the 2-7. The theoretically easier crossover in this pool. So jinX just need one first match point. Great pull from GB women. Decent fielding. Wilson's going to have to turn on the gas to get under it. And again, the GB zone. It has paid off before. Nice shot through the middle to De Von Stupt. Hormlong. Oh, that's really high, but good second effort from Yekland. Not going to make any errors after getting bested in the last point. Pass count rising for jinX. Really shutting off Gerner, just about getting it through to Hormlong. Really trying to assassinate those backfield passes and put pressure on. Contain and frustrate if they can. Gavich coming through to Gerner. jinX happy to just take small little munches of the distance between them and the goal line. Gavich. Melt to match for GB now. Opportunity could be taken. Hormlong has Gavich completely poached. Oh, thinks about that racy inside shot. Yekland coming under towards the front cone. Hormlong up the line. She just sits it straight in front, and that is game 12-10. jinX best Great Britain. And they will go through with the second seed into the championship bracket.
12-10, great game. It's very possible we could see these two again. They could likely match up in a final. France and Shout and all the rest may have something to say about that. But those end up being the top 4 now in the women's division. The two we just saw here, France and Shout on the other side of the bracket. Belgium, the Czechs, and our other two end up being, well, I'm going to have to have a quick look about that, but all the action will continue.
It certainly will, and we will be going back, flipping over to the Open 1 division. Number one, and quarterfinals. Mooncatchers versus Chuck.
Moonchuck coming up next. It's Austria and Discay that are the other two teams remaining in the quarterfinal in the women's division.
Indeed, and of those quarterfinals, we will be bringing you at 5:30 local time, BFD Shout versus Discay. So that is going to be a cracker later on this afternoon. But we're going to wrap it up here as we see the players starting to warm themselves up. Don't go anywhere. Chuck versus Moon. We'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, ultimate.
ulti.TV.